Alright guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'll be covering part 3 and the exciting conclusion to the epic story about the ex-husband, who went scorched earth after his wife demanded open marriage. And where we left off, guys, in part 2, our guy was going through several examples, I believe he did 11 of them, of the different things that he was doing during that 9-month period that they were still married with the open marriage. Holy crap. Well, here we are, he's going to finish up his list and then get on to the inevitable divorce. So again, refill your beer, refill your popcorn. This is going to be one heck of a good conclusion. So he continues, number 12 on the list. For her birthday, I gave her daisies and a crappy Pandora pendant. She was confused since I had always gone on my way to give her multiple gifts, flowers, and a fancy dinner, and he says, I know. That's okay if she was a good wife in the past, but clearly she wasn't. She's lucky she got anything, man. I'd give her dead flowers like the Joker and Batman, 1989 Batman. I told her to be ready for dinner at 8 p.m. and left for my home office to work on some things. That night, she got ready in her best dress, as she usually did for her birthday. Well, her best dress, I'm sure she was really trying to squeeze in that dress at this point. When she asked why I wasn't ready for dinner, I told her I was. I ordered Uber Eats and set up a movie on the TV. This time, she couldn't keep it down. She exploded, telling me how she got ready for nothing and I was the worst husband for getting her birthday. Given that 8 months ago or whatever, you brought up opening our marriage to F other dudes and threatening to divorce me and take me to the cleaners otherwise, no. I told her I would never forget her birthday because I loved her too much. However, effing around has turned out to be more expensive than I anticipated. I told her that attractive women often expect men to shell out around $200 on dinner or book 5-star hotels if we want them in bed. So we might have to cut back on birthday and Christmas presents. Remember, this is her idea. So obviously, I'm going to point out some of the obvious here. Obviously, she wasn't hooking up with a whole lot of guys in comparison that you were hooking up with gals at this point because her confidence had been shattered and, And all along, she's thinking that that was a great idea. Well, she kept screaming at me, $200 for dinner? Are you insane? And I said, of course it's $200. Or how much money are your men spending on your dates and gifts? I asked, and her expression said it all, nothing. There you go. Yeah, she's probably hooking up with guys here and there, but it's not like they're really spending any money with. They're loving and leaving her. Around the 8 or 9 month mark of her open marriage, she started to realize that no one was genuinely interested in her. No one cared enough to invest any money or time in her, and she was just being used and left at the hotel. Well, that's kind of how it works. That's the best situation for most guys. How she was always one of their many hookups. And most of the time, she ended up being ghosted or paying for everything. Even Andrew blocked her. Man, that's pretty bad when Andrew, the vegan, the astrology guy, I don't know, there was a whole lot of things about Andrew, your coworker, who was ridiculous. I'm sure he had a man bun or skinny jeans, something like that. But after her birthday, something inside her broke. She spent her days like a zombie, crying, reading, or watching movies. As for me, I never asked how she was feeling. I didn't care. I kept being happy around her, talking about my other women, and doing my best at making her miserable. And as always thanking her for opening our marriage. Now, I'm going to get people watching this. There's going to be somebody out there, probably somebody stumbles on the channel, because something like this is probably going to do well. This guy's awful. He's cruel. He's going too far. No. You're handling like a boss. Number 13. After opening the marriage, our sex life went down a lot. From 2 to 4 times a week to once or twice a month. I'm surprised it's even that much. At first, she didn't notice or didn't care. But the more time passed and the lonelier she got, she complained a lot about how I stopped touching her and that when I didn't seem very into it as I was before. Gee, sweetheart, think about why? One time around the 10th month opening the marriage, we were having you-know-what, and I was so out of it that I got soft after a few minutes of starting. Ooh, that'll piss her off. She started screaming how I never did to her, and when I did, I got soft. She asked me if I wanted to go to a doctor or something, but I told her that there was nothing wrong with me. You'd be like, hey, you might want to wash down there, honey. Then she asked me if there was nothing wrong with me, then why was I able to do it with multiple times before, and now I can't last a minute. Again, gee, think about it. Well, because my skin crawled whenever she touched me, but I didn't tell her that. Instead, I told her that she wouldn't like my answer and to please let it go. Well, now you just set her up to have to pry and dig. And after she obviously insisted on telling her why and promised that she wouldn't get mad at me for being honest, I said that I used to last a lot and did it multiple times with her before because I always thought she felt fantastic. But now that I'm sleeping with 25-year-olds, let's just say I've gotten used to how snug they feel, so I've been having issues feeling any pressure when I do it with her. She effing lost it, screaming, crying, breaking stuff, scratching me, and just mentally losing it. Bro, I think it's time to put an end to all this. Not because this isn't funny and everything, but hitting you, scratching you, dude, if you don't know why, Google Lorena Bobbitt, 1990s, and there you go. It's time to end this. Well, after hours of screaming and rolling on the floor, she was rolled on the floor, she packed her bags and told me she would go away for a couple weeks and not to call her. So I didn't call her. Those days were amazing. I went to work and returned to an empty house. No noise, no stress. I watched shows, went for a run, played video games, had 1 or 2 hookups, did some barbecues, and found better ways to cook tomahawks. I also invited my bros, some of whom even came from out of state, just to support me. Being there and feeling happy for the first time in a while, I felt like I needed a break. We drank, played air hockey, watched movies, and failed at beer pong. It was effing awesome. That is awesome, man. Man, I'm starting to think I need an air hockey table in my house. I got a pool table, and I freaking love it, but I now need something new. Got to find the right place to put it, though. The house is pretty full. Then weeks later, she was back at the house. She was nice, flirted with me all the time, wore my favorite dress she owned, though by then she looked like she stuffed sausage in them, and kept talking as if the last 10 months never existed. Being all sweet, telling me she was ready for a family, it was weird as hell. She has a plan, brother. You bet your butt. Soon after she came back, I received a call from my dad who warned me about an upcoming intervention. Turns out my wife had spent the last few weeks crying to her parents and that they had agreed to intervene and help save our marriage. Even divine intervention from God would not save this marriage. This is doomed. My dad said that my mother-in-law had contacted my mom, asking her and my dad to join in the intervention and pressure us to close our open marriage and start having children. My mom thought it would be a good idea, but my dad told her to be quiet and let me handle my marriage on my own. High five to your dad. Hell yeah. Still, he warned me her parents weren't taking no for an answer, and I should be prepared to be ambushed next Saturday. Okay. Prepare for battle. Well, last Saturday, my wife cleaned the house and baked brownies and dressed like a Mormon wife. I pretended to be unaware and asked if she wanted me to leave the house for her date. She assured me there was no date, explained that she just hadn't seen anybody in a while, and she just woke up in the mood to clean and cook. Oh, how nice. How wonderful. About fucking time. House has been a shithole. Well, it took all my strength not to laugh at her when the doorbell rang. And she said, "Oh, who could that be?" Her acting was awful. She kept her surprised expression the entire time as she opened the door, greeted our parents, and let them in. She even asked if I knew they were coming. I told her no, that if I had known, I would have dressed up like a fake prude, cleaned the house, and baked brownies. She didn't like my comment at all. After all the fake surprise hellos, we sat in our living room and my mother-in-law began talking about how everybody had been discussing our decision to open the marriage. Although they respect us, they believe that our choice to open the marriage could harm both our relationship and who we are as individuals. What are you talking about? The last 9 months have been great. Your daughter's been having a great time with her idea. I told her I understood it was an unusual way of loving each other, but her daughter and I were happy in this marriage. To please mind their own business and butt out of our relationship. My father-in-law said it was obvious that my wife isn't happy. I said that was impossible, that no woman spends weeks threatening the man they love with divorce just so they can do something they hate or make them unhappy. Well, my wife remained quiet. That's a first. So I asked her what her dad was saying was the truth, that if she pretended that opening our marriage would make us happy, just so I would agree to let her sleep with other men without facing the consequences of cheating. She said that she believed it would be good for us, but after trying it out, she realized that she's not the poly type. Darn it. I told her she made me realize that I was. Without her idea, I would never have known I wanted many other women in my life. I told her I loved her, and she was everything I needed, but she showed me that she would never be enough to satisfy me. Whew. Salt and wound. My mother-in-law asked me to please close my marriage and to follow the vows I made when we were married. Yeah, mother-in-law, about those vows. The vows that your daughter agreed upon and then took a giant crap on 9 months earlier. Why don't you tell it to her? I told her I will die married to her daughter as long as I can have my other women at my side. That the heart is a muscle, and the more you use it, the more you love. And the more I use it, the more I will love her daughter. Remember that crap she said about the heart is a muscle and all that shit in part 1? Well, she started to cry, telling me she didn't want to do this, but I left her with no choice. So she took out divorce papers and placed them on the table. Either we close a relationship or we divorce. Wait, you want a divorce? Okay. I could tell by the look on her face that she truly believed that I would destroy those papers and beg her to come back to me. I think at this point we can say that your ex-wife, was effing mental. But instead, I told her I loved her, but she showed me that I can't live married to someone this controlling, someone who thinks she owns my body. And I signed the papers, and she had a complete and total meltdown. Did she start rolling around again? Man, I wish you had some footage of that stuff. You could just send it to me. Guys, have you ever experienced any crazy shit? Little intermission real quick. Any crazy shit, and you happen to get on video? Send it to me. I promise. I won't show any... No offense, guys, but I can't put it on YouTube. You can show me. Let me have a good laugh. Then I can describe it when I read these stories. Okay, time in. She was screaming, crying, pulling her hair, and letting herself fall to the floor. Oh, good. She was rolling around again. So it became nearly impossible for her father to carry her from the floor. She cried and begged me to listen to her. But my mom stepped in front of her, and her family then told them that she believed her son had just told them to leave. You're goddamn right about that. After that, I received numerous texts from her begging me to take her back. She said I could keep my side of the marriage open and do whatever I wanted, promising she would never complain. She can't go 15 seconds without complaining or rolling around the floor. Then she switched to blaming me, calling me an a-hole, and claiming that I manipulated her into behaving that I opened the relationship to save the marriage when I was just using her. Time machine, we're going to go back and watch you threatening to divorce me and take me to the cleaners for not opening the marriage. And the heart is a muscle, and the muscle gets stronger. She tried to spin the narrative by telling her friends how I did bad things to her and manipulated her into opening the relationship. But thanks to my rule and how we told everybody what we were doing and we did it together, everybody told her off. They saw how happy she was, and they all knew she was the one who kept asking to open the marriage. That's why you control the narrative. That's why you telling the friends and family was the best idea you could do. And since the neighbors were warned by the psycho single mom that my wife would eventually swear I did bad things because I stopped doing whatever she wanted, no one believed my wife when she told everybody I was a monster. She then asked her best friends for help, but since they were the ones who congratulated me the most for making her happy with the open marriage, they couldn't say shit now. Well, I'm sure they found ways and reasons to say shit some way, somehow. The Harpy Brigade. In court, she attempted to go for more than her fair share by claiming that I committed fraud because I spent too much money on other women and stealing what belonged to her. My lawyer explained that none of my actions constituted fraud. Opening our relationship was her idea, and we agreed to date other people. We were fully aware of our expenses on these dates, and it wasn't as if I'd cash out every asset I had because I knew our marriage was ending. In fact, it was the opposite. That I dated those women to prevent my wife from divorcing me, just as she had threatened me. The cheating didn't matter in court, but I had a lot of evidence that she begged for the marriage to be opened, her threats of divorce, and everything I did to make her happy. Consequently, the judge was less sympathetic to her in the end. Well, thank God for that. You got lucky. Well, guys, I lost half our savings, half of the main account, which was thousands less after my shopping spree and the renovations, and had to sell the house to buy her out. She also kept the car, and I had to pay the insurance for what was left for the year, plus around 2.5 years of alimony. And that was it. My marriage was finally over. Thank the Lord. Again, she could have Lorena Bobbited you one evening while you were sound asleep. This has been hilarious, but yes, it is time to move on. God almighty. Yeah, I'm sure anytime she hears open marriage, the hair in the back of her neck's going to go up. Probably her hair will turn gray or something like that. It sucks you lost half, but dude, 2.5 years of alimony, small price to pay. You could have had kids with her. You could have been dealing with her for the rest of your life. Now you're free. After that, the craziness continued for a while. Imagine that. One night she told me she was going to end herself if I didn't come over to save her, and sent me a picture of a bottle of pills and knife. You're not married anymore. She can call her mom and dad. In fact, just to make sure you don't get in trouble, call the police for a wellness check and call her parents. So I called the emergency line, and she was hospitalized for a couple of days. She should have been in there longer than a couple of days. She was furious when she was let out. Came to my new place banging on the door, telling me my life was nothing without her, and to open the door or she'll make me regret it. Oh, thank you. Thank you for threatening me and saying I'd regret it. I'm recording this. Off to the loony bin or prison. So I called the police, and she was taken away. Now she has a record. The more she lost it, the better it was for me. Friends would come to tell me how sorry they were, and I would hug them, thanking them for their support. How hard it was to see the woman I love lose herself that way. How I wish I could have done more. In their eyes, I was still and am a man who did everything for love. There ain't no way they all believe that, but okay. Maybe some of them did. Now it's been a half a year since I had any personal contact with her. From what I've heard, she lives with her parents, cut contact with most of her friends. Her Facebook is flooded with angry rants about how weak men can't understand it's their job to save their wives from temptation, and how she can't wait to find a real traditional man who wants to make her his one and only. She had that. You made her your one and only. You were done your Chad frat boy ways. You were ready for kids and all that, and she screwed all up. But of course, we all know whose fault it is for everything in this world. Yeah, you're the big bad guy here. She torpedoed her life, and but always got to blame it on guys. As for me, SSM, life is quiet, relaxing, and effing great with no hoe in sight. And sorry, I didn't realize how long this got until I checked my grammar. Hope you all had a great day. Bro, I've been having a great day since I started reading this morning. I'm glad I just happened to wake up early this morning and read it when you sent it overnight. This is one of the best stories I ever read. Holy crap, you handled it like a boss. Damn, dude. And this whole thing about how you were cruel and no. I mean, some people may think you overdid it. I didn't think you overdid it. The vast majority of guys watching this, no way, thought you overdid it. And this whole part, you think you might be reincarnated as a mosquito or something like that. No. Don't worry about that. And if you go to hell, you'll have company, because I will most certainly be there. Most of the guys from this channel will be there. But as General Maximus Decimus Meridius said in Gladiator, what we do in life echoes in eternity. And at least you got this story echoing in eternity. And wherever you end up, somebody's going to be laughing about it. So, brother, great story. I'm glad you're doing well. I think I can say the obvious that for all that is sacred and holy, don't ever get married again. What's the freaking point? Unless you probably do want children one day. But, I mean, I would be so traumatized by all this crap. Who knows? But you say it's been 6 months since you heard from her. And obviously, with her showing up at your house and banging on the door, making threats, and getting in trouble with the cops, I don't know if there's a restraining order, but I'm sure that if she does it again, she can be in deep crap. But given her mental state, I would not be surprised you hear from her again. And if you do, you know who to call. Other than Ghostbusters, you know to call me. Don't call me, but email me. And I want to hear the story. So, bro, great story. You handle it like a boss. This is hilarious. This is going to be a top story. I know it. All 3 parts here. And all you guys that watched this whole thing, I hope you really enjoyed yourself and got your money's worth today. Definitely. All right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Let me know. I should have mentioned this earlier, but as if it is obvious, let him know, do you think he went too far? Really? Did he go too far? Was he out of line? Was he cruel? All these things? Seriously, if you think he was, okay, you're allowed to say it. Within reason, this is YouTube. You can have free to speak your mind. And let's all hear this. I'll be very curious about that. And be sure to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.